Alrighty, so I've been putting this off for a day or two to see how many questions we could get, because I put up not really a poll, but just like a YouTube post asking people if they wanted to ask me any sort of questions while I went through the Tower of Trials, because I didn't really want to do a speedrun this time, because I felt like I did it last time, and I think I did it the time before that as well. And I don't think there's been like too many crazy characters. Obviously, Brunhild is kind of an interesting one that's come out since maybe the last time that we did it, but I don't feel like it's, if you want to go like optimal, I doubt it's really changed too much. So we're just going to be casually going through it. I'm going to try to read some of these questions off and answer them. We didn't get too many questions, so I'm going to sort of just use a pretty decent team that I feel like I can beat it in a sort of timely manner, as well as I can spend a little bit of time talking about some of the questions. So the first question that I got was from Anthony, and he said, what other anime are you keeping up with, and are you excited for any upcoming ones? I don't necessarily keep track of like upcoming stuff, like unless it's already started and there's like a lot of hype around it. It doesn't really get onto my radar too quickly, just because I don't know of a lot of I don't keep up with a lot of like manga and stuff like that ends up becoming anime, or like getting an anime adaptation or anything like that. I'm not in that sort of sphere, I guess. But I do watch quite a bit of anime. And he says, what anime are you keeping up with at the moment? Currently, I try to watch. I have a Funimation subscription at the moment because I really like watching dubbed anime, and Funimation just has a lot of really good stuff, and they're currently trying to, I think, swap over to sort of migrate all of their content over to Crunchyroll, if I'm not mistaken, which Crunchyroll's more of like, I think their main basis was like subbed anime, but now that they're getting a lot of Funimation's dubbed stuff, obviously once they fully swap over and everything, I'll probably swap over to that. But the current anime that I'm watching, like as far as like I'll watch an anime, like I watch a couple of episodes before I go to bed. I'm watching Restaurant to Another World, which I think is not the greatest. It's like a 6 out of 10 so far, but I'm on season 2, which is the newest season. I think it came out last year, and I really do like food anime. I think it's really cool, but for some reason, I don't know, Restaurant to Another World just doesn't really have a whole lot of like actual story. Like the way that the show's laid out, it's a lot of like each episode split into 2 parts, and the first episode, or like each part will basically be like it'll follow a character that you're either just meeting for the first time, or it'll be like a repeat character that's going through a scenario, and then these doors pop up around the world, this like fantasy world, I guess, and they walk through the door and it like teleports them to like, I guess, just modern day Japan basically, and the person on the other side, like the door leads into a restaurant, of course, and it's just a Japanese chef who makes food from like modern day Japan, but for these fantasy world creatures and people who have obviously never sort of dealt with anything like that. Like the food is completely different, so that's a really cool concept, I think. But I don't know, it literally just follows like different characters each time, 2 different characters per episode, and I feel like there's just no like actual like story going on. Like there's small little bits of stuff that happen every once in a while that sort of like helps with the world building, but I mean, I'm in season 2, I'm on like episode 5 or 6 at this point, and I think the first season only had like 12 episodes or whatever, but I don't even know the main character's name. Like the main chef is just, his name is just Chef. Like they don't call him by his name. I don't know, it's just really bizarre to me. Like it's a really cool concept, and I like all of like the food stuff and everything, but I just wish there was a little bit more like story, I guess, involved with it. That would be kind of nice. But other than that, with a friend, I am at the moment watching Tokyo Revengers, and it is actually super good so far. I've heard good things about it whenever people were watching it as soon as it came out. Like I definitely remember people like saying the name and everything, but I never really got around to it, or just didn't know too much about it. And after a friend sort of asked me if I wanted to watch it the other day, I was like, yeah, sure. And The show is awesome. Like, it's really, really good. It's about like it's about a guy who can sort of like time travel back in time, so he's trying to change the future because bad things happen, and like he's in like he like joins like a biker gang, and he has to like change the outcome of how things play out so that way everything works out in the end. I don't know, it's really weird concept, but it's really interesting as well. So those are the two that I'm watching right now. I'll probably watch a whole bunch of other stuff as well. I don't know, I end up watching pretty much anything. I have a bunch of stuff on my Funimation queue at the moment, so I'll just kind of work my way through that. Every time I finish a show, I sort of just move on to the next one. But yeah, that's what I'm doing anime-wise. Kind of a long question. I know I maybe talked about that one a little too much. Next question is from Leo. What do you think about the upcoming characters? Do you think that Freyr is only one, or we might be getting Freya as well? This was a comment that I got like a day ago, maybe almost 2 days ago at this point. So we've already seen at this point. Obviously, we're not getting Freya just yet, but the new Freyr looks very, very cool. The live stream for that was just this morning as of the time of me recording this, so I think this is going to go up not tomorrow morning, but the morning after that. So it'll be a couple of days afterwards, but I think that the character looks cool. I haven't seen, obviously they're going to be doing summons and stuff like that for the character tonight on JP, so I'll try to keep track of it a little bit over the next couple of days and see what people sort of think about him as he drops. But he looks good. He's got skills from, he's got the one Escanor's ultimate, which is just I guess all you can really ask for, so I don't think that the man can lose, really. Anyway, next question is from Anirban. I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but his question is, when is Lostvayne Meliodas coming to global? Which is really funny because I don't think I was quite big enough at the time of him coming out for people to really comment this on my videos way back then, because like the game has been out for so long at this point, and I was such a smaller channel back then that I don't really think I was part of the meme back then, but I definitely understand that it's just like a joke question, like haha, like people were asking way back then because the game was like 6 months apart at that point, and people were like, all of the global players were like, holy, like I gotta get that Lostvayne Meliodas, like when is that coming to global? And like people just asked the question for a really long time, so I understand that it's a joke. It's pretty funny, and the funnier part about it is somebody actually commented as well back to it and let him know that the character is already in the game. And he was like, yeah, I know, it's just a gag question, like don't worry about it. So I thought that was really really funny as well. Next question, we're actually blowing through them a little bit quicker, so I'll try to this one I feel like I can talk about for a good little bit. It is from Firefly, and he says, do you play any other non-gacha video games? If yes, what is your favorite? I don't know that I can really pinpoint like a favorite. I do play a lot of games. Like I have a Nintendo Switch, but I do most of my gaming on PC, of course. I really wish there was more, like a lot more like decent games on the Switch. I feel like I haven't really played the Switch in a long time. I do like the Switch a lot. I've really been looking at the Steam Deck, but I have no idea when that would actually get to me, if I even pre-ordered one or anything at this point. So I'm not sure if I really want to get all into that. But I have I think I have my Steam library is at over 600 games at the moment. Obviously, I don't play every single one of those. I'm very bad about buying games and then not ever getting around to playing it. I feel like sometimes I feel like more of a collector than like an actual gamer, I guess. But I do play a lot of video games. I play a lot with just friends that I hang out in Discord with all day, like just friends that I sort of grew up with and went to high school with and everything like that. I still hang out with all of them and sort of play games and stuff here and there. And I would say I don't really have a favorite. I have a lot of like old school games that I really liked growing up. Like I really liked Metal Gear Solid. I have like some collectibles and stuff like that. I like Animal Crossing. I know those are like totally different spectrums there, but I'll really play anything. I'm really into like game art more than anything. I feel like if a game has a very interesting art style to it, I'm normally drawn to it a lot more. I actually just played through the demo of a new Devolver Digital game on my second channel that has like a really cool, unique, like sort of art style to it that drew me in, and I'm really hoping that it's, you know, it comes out in, I think it comes out in August. So I'm really looking forward to that one coming out, so that way I can sort of mess with it a little bit more, because I think it was a really cool concept, and I really enjoyed the demo. So looking kind of forward to messing with that. I have some other cool games on my like Steam like wish list, I guess. I'm looking forward to the new, well, not new necessarily, but Spider-Man for the PS4 is finally getting ported over to PC in August as well, which is super cool. I really wanted to play that game. What is it? I can just pull up my Steam wish list, I guess. 1 second. I'll just go ahead and load in. I'm looking forward to Starfield. Stalker 2 is on the list. I really like Stalker. Like, I like the concept of them. I'm hoping that the newer one is a little bit more accessible, because I wasn't really into the older Stalker games. But Redfall got shown off recently. That one actually has caught my attention a little bit. Stray is on here. It's like a cat game. I don't know, just some indie games and stuff like that. I really like all kinds of games. I think the only games that I can't really get into are, I'm really bad at fighting games, so I don't normally tend to like play them a whole lot, because I just suck at them and I just can't spend the time to like actually get used to them enough to where I actually enjoy the game. So I don't really play fighting games a whole lot. Strategy games are kind of hit or miss. I can probably play it for a little while. But I sort of end up falling out of those, and then I can't seem to focus on JRPGs long enough to actually finish those either. But I would say anything else, I normally end up, you know, playing quite a bit. I have a ton of games in the backlog at the moment that I'm trying to get through that are single player games. Currently working through Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. I play Hunt Showdown, which is like an FPS shooter, like instance-based shooter that I play with friends right now. I'm playing Deep Rock Galactic with friends right now. I don't know. I play a ton of games. I really do like games, and I play a ton of games. I really would like to stream on Twitch and stuff like that. Maybe at some point, like just to actually play games, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's almost like I don't have the drive to do it, because I'd rather hang out and like talk to my friends in like Discord and just like chat and chill and play games and stuff like that, than have to worry about streaming and like keeping up conversation and stuff with chat and everything, which I mean, it's not bad. I definitely like talking to chat and stuff like that, but like I feel like if a friend is on, I would much rather just like hang out with a friend than stream. So maybe at some point I'll get over that and start streaming, but I don't know. I do play a lot of games. I think if I upgrade my computer at some point a little bit more, because I'm on a little bit older hardware at the moment. So if I can upgrade my computer a little bit to where I can stream like more modern games and not have to worry about like FPS issues and stuff like that, which I don't think I would with the current setup that I have, but you know, games are obviously continuously getting more and more, you know, progressive and crazy, so it's hard to handle streaming or recording them and playing them at the same time. So I play a lot of games. To answer your question, don't necessarily have a favorite, just because I like a lot of games in general. So yeah. Next one. What collab would you want to see return or happen? If I had to pick one to return, I guess probably I do kind of want to see what the Holy Relics would be for ReZero, and I actually do want to see what the Attack on Titan one is as well. I'm not as actually as big of a fan of Attack on Titan as other people seem to be, but I did really enjoy the Attack on Titan collab whenever it happened, and I think those characters maybe getting revamped or getting some Holy Relics and stuff like that could be really cool. If I had to choose a show or like an anime that I wanted to get like a collaboration for the game, I really want to see Fire Force. I really enjoyed watching Fire Force whenever I watched through it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the newest season. They're supposed to be doing a season 3 at some point. I think it's supposed to be sometime in the next like year or so. I'm not positive if there's an actual release date on it or not yet, but I think Fire Force would be really cool, and I think the characters might potentially fit. They all like are sort of like fire-based units, but I feel like it's enough like fantasy mixed with sort of like the same style of characters that these characters are, or I think that they would really like slot into the game very well. Plus the manga for Fire Force is actually published by Kodansha, which is the same people who publish Seven Deadly Sins, so they have that sort of thing in common, I guess, which I guess Attack on Titan is as well, and all of that stuff. I don't know if that's like a huge factor for them picking out collabs, but it actually seems like a feasible collab that could potentially happen if everything fell into place, I guess. So I would definitely like to see Fire Force. I really liked it. I think it would be cool. I think the characters would fit. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all of the collabs, maybe except for like the Stranger Things collab, were really cool. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to any of them coming back by any means. I think that they were all sort of cool. I feel like the game does a good job of like making collabs sort of fun and interesting, and doing a good job of crossing over. So I ain't hating on it. Ooh, killed Valenti. That was a big damage on Valenti, actually. Kind of surprised at that. Next question is from Phantom. He says, what is the best way to farm for gold and enhancement potions to level up characters? I mean, so they do half stamina every other week, but nowadays they've actually changed it to where half stamina for Fort Solgris is every single Sunday. So I would definitely recommend just, after you've summoned on a banner, you have some extra silver coins and stuff like that laying around, just grab and sort of stock up on stamina potions, go into Fort Solgris and sort of just let your game either auto farm, or if you have some skip tickets and stuff like that saved up, just go to the respective dungeon for either potions or gold or whatever you need, and just let the game farm. Honestly, that's how I do it. I don't think there's really a much better way to do it, really. At the moment, I think enhancement potions are definitely my bottleneck for level 100 right now, because I still am sitting on a halfway decent amount of pendants, because I just really haven't leveled up a whole lot of my box, because a lot of them are characters that I'm never going to use, so I just don't ever see the point. So I didn't have a problem with pendants, and I feel like I didn't really have too much of a problem with just like having the drive to actually run the content to get the materials. So the only thing holding me back right now is that I actually needed to farm the enhancement potions, which was really funny to sort of run out of those, because I was sitting on so many. But you just level 90 to level 100 just runs through them so quick. So that was funny. Next question is from Wid. And his question is, do you see yourself making content for other gacha games anytime soon? And I think this is a pretty good question, because the game's been out for a while. I think a lot of people are always sort of like on the fence of like, oh no, like whatever the next big gacha game that comes out could potentially kill this one, or the player base is going to migrate to that, or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't really see myself making content on any other gacha games, unless it's something that I'm actually interested in. Like I made a little bit of content for World Flipper when it came out, and it was something that like I kind of enjoyed playing. Like it was an actual game that I just had on my phone and I liked playing, because it was just like a little gacha pinball game that I thought was like a cool concept. But eventually I just sort of lost interest, stopped making videos on it, didn't really even play it anymore, so I stopped playing the game in general. There are games that I sort of have my eye on that I think that are really interesting, that I'm looking forward to, that I would maybe like to make content on if I actually enjoy the games enough. But the reason why I started making content on this game was it was something that I was just playing, and I just decided one day that I wanted to make videos on it, so I just tried it out, and then just for some reason I just got really consistent with it and just kept going, and it's probably been the best thing my channel has ever done, honestly. Like I can't remember, I was probably at like 300 or maybe even less, maybe even 200 subs or something like that before I started playing this game. And I started uploading content. The first video that I think I did for the game was summons for Green Escanor whenever his banner dropped on global, and I just wanted to play the game. Really enjoyed playing the game. I thought it was a really good basis, and I didn't really even know that much about like Seven Deadly Sins in general. A friend of my brother actually ended up telling me, or a friend of my brother's that he worked with told my brother about the game, and he told me like, oh hey, you know, their global version's launching soon, you should try it out or whatever. And I did on a whim, and it made me, you know, actually watch the show and sort of take it from there. But I actually, as far as I'm concerned, I actually really liked, you know, Seven Deadly Sins for like the first 2 seasons or so. I think it gets a little bit more outlandish than I want it to be. In the later seasons, like I just don't really enjoy the later seasons as much, unfortunately. I think it just kind of ramped up exponentially into a part where like it wasn't really what I signed up for initially, I don't think. But I mean, I still think that the show as a whole is good. Like it's fine, but you know, there's been a lot of situations where like a lot of Grand Cross YouTubers were like, oh hey, you know, whenever Genshin came out, you know, I used to watch like Sekapoko and some other YouTubers and stuff like that used to play the game, and Sekapoko is just like a really good example of like, you know, Genshin Impact came out, everybody was like, oh, this game is killing every gacha game on the market, this is the, you know, the hot new thing, everybody's swapping over to this game. And then, you know, a lot of people left. Maybe not a lot, but a decent amount of people left. They were like, okay, I'm gonna go switch over to Genshin, you know, it's the hot new thing, open world, blah blah blah, this and that. And I mean, it happens with every game. You know, every game that comes out, it might be, you know, somebody else's like you know, bread and butter. That might be something that they're way more interested in than this game. So I mean, it happens. New games come out, people leave. You know, whenever Slime Isekai Memories came out, people were like, oh my god, it's the next big game, everybody's gonna play this. And I mean, even a lot of the Grand Cross YouTubers that play the game now swapped over and tried to play that game for a little bit, and it just didn't work out. I really wasn't as interested in the game. I hadn't watched the anime at the time, and even if I had, I don't think that I really enjoyed the way that the game played. I tried to start an account for it, and I re-rolled a little bit. And I'm really bad to like start a gacha game, and if I don't just immediately hop in and play the game like I should, and I just sit there and re-roll forever because I'm like, oh man, I gotta have the best character and re-roll for them a million times whenever a new game comes out, I get so tired of re-rolling at that point that I hate the game and I stop playing it because I'm so sick of re-rolling. And even once I get what I was looking for, I'm just so tired of it at that point. Which seems to be a very common thing. I follow like the gacha games subreddit and stuff like that, which is a little bit more toxic than I would want it to be, but I do follow that subreddit, and I feel like a lot of people end up having that issue. But you know, the new games come out. I think there's a couple of games that I'm interested in still. Like the new Black Clover game looks good. Apparently, it's actually made by some of the people who worked on this game whenever it was, you know, first getting released and stuff like that. So it should have like some sort of like basis, like a good like foundation, like this game does, which I think is really good. So that's something that I think will be really cool. I'm definitely planning on trying it out. I don't know anything about Black Clover really. I've tried to start watching the anime a little bit, but I kind of just wanted to watch other things, and I'll try to get back to it at some point. But that looks really cool. MiHoYo actually has a new game coming out called Zenless Zone Zero, I think, which actually has caught my eye just from the art style and stuff like that. So I think that looks really cool, and I want to try it whenever it comes out. No idea what the gameplay is even supposed to be like. I'm not even sure. I think it looks kind of like a gacha game where you like just like 1v1 fight, but I'm not too sure really. I'll just have to keep watching and seeing if, you know, there's any sort of like updates on that as it comes out. But that looked really interesting. There was a One Piece like Grand Cross game that was announced for China. And if that game comes to global, I would be way more apt to play that than anything, because if it has the same foundation and plays like this game does, but it's the One Piece IP, I would much rather play the One Piece game than the Grand Cross, or than the the Seven Deadly Sins game, because I'm not as big of a Seven Deadly Sins fan as I am like a One Piece fan. Like I really liked One Piece. I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest One Piece fan or anything, but I like that IP more than this IP. I wouldn't completely dump this account or anything like that. I would probably still want to play this game until something big and bad happens where I don't want to play it anymore. But if I had to choose one, I would say that game is probably the one thing that would make me like want to switch over to like making content for a different game specifically. So kind of a weird roundabout answer there, maybe a little bit more than I should have talked about. Maybe I got off topic a little bit, but yeah, that is the answer to the question that was asked. And that's what I'm sticking with. We're getting kind of close to the end, but we only have 3 more questions left. So, question from the Blonde Dude, which is a frequent commenter. Just to let you know, I do appreciate it. I recognize a lot of the names and stuff like that whenever they comment a whole lot, and it's really cool to see. So that's really nice. But he says, oh, well, it wasn't really a question. He just said, I'll check it out later when I see, or to see about any mechanics I need to know about for just the Tower of Trial in general. Okay. There's not really anything you got to worry about as far as I know. I think the only thing that mechanic-wise that these Tower of Trials even have, like difficulty-wise, is the last floor. Like, you don't need to put... I don't think you want to use debuffs at all for the last floor because she heals so much off of the debuffs or whatever. So I'll probably have to change my team around a little bit for that, but I don't think there's any other like crazy mechanics that you have to really worry about. But second to last question from Kevin H. What is the best roles for your defense gear, resistance or defense? I always go defense. I've never made a set that uses resistance rolls unless it's for like green Valenti, like the base green Valenti. But I know that there's certain instances where some PvE content will help to have resistance rolls. Like I've seen Cheekswa is a really good example. He's a YouTuber that does a lot of like guild boss and stuff like that, a lot of like interesting final bosses and stuff, and I've noticed that he will sometimes put resistance rolls on like rare gear or something like that for some of the final bosses, because it will actually make them patience instead of having high defense just blocking some of the damage. So I think that there's a weird sort of experimental phase that you would need to go through to sort of like pinpoint when would be the best time to use defense over resistance. But I think for the most part, if you're just playing the game regularly and you're using these characters in all kinds of different game modes, I think just base defense is definitely the way to go, unless you're building like a specific set for a specific character that you're only using in like guild boss or a specific game mode where you would want to have just resistance rolls or whatever. So not too sure. Kind of a weird answer, but I think that's basically the best I can tell you there. I think let's swap to Melly. Let's go with Red Arthur maybe before I answer the last question. I want to do just like maybe an amplify or something, so that way I can take him down kind of easier. I don't want any sort of buffs on, so we could swap to like Nanashi in the back. And then do I have anybody else? We could use like Red Tarmiel. Yeah, he could potentially debuff them if they attack him twice, but hopefully that'll work out. I actually don't even need to use Sariel here, but doesn't matter because he has his own grace. This should who's missing gear? Oh, it's probably Arthur. Oh well, we'll go in, we'll see how it works. Last question is from Bread Cherry YT. What inspired you to start making content on Grand Cross? I have always, like, I mean, you can look back through my channel. My channel's over 10 years old at this point. I have been making content for a really long time, ever since I was like I think like a freshman or sophomore in high school. And I've always just made content on what I enjoyed playing. I really didn't, you know, look into it much more than that. And I just, you know, I found out about the game, like I said earlier, from, you know, my brother, who ended up hearing about it from some people that he worked with that played gacha games. And I just really enjoyed the game. I like making videos on games that I play regularly and that I enjoy, you know, playing. And I think that this game was perfect because the game has consistent updates that you can consistently, like, just make new content on. Oh yeah, I'm still ending up putting on too many debuffs. Damn, even with that much amplify. Oh, actually, I think she got rid of my buffs. Ooh. But yeah, I just I was playing the game for a while whenever it first came out, and then once it got to the point to where Green Escanor came out, I was like, oh, like, this is actually something that's like very hype in the game, and people are really interested in this. So I just wanted to sort of play around with it and see how it went. I made a couple of videos. Some of the videos did very well for, like, me at the time, like, very small YouTuber, blah blah blah. And I just noticed that as I was more consistent with it and I sort of just kept going, I was growing a decent fan base of people who were just, you know, interested in sort of me being just chill and playing the game and not being, you know, overly YouTuber-y. I feel like, I mean, it's very easy to just be like, whoa, hey bros, what's going on? YouTube man here, blah blah blah. But I just have no interest in being that person. I just don't. I would much rather just play the game like I would and give my honest thoughts and opinions on it. Oh, she's got me buff immune. Very interesting. I think I'll have to... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to back out. I think maybe it's not debuffs that I need to worry about. Maybe it's buffs that I need to worry about. So maybe I just need to go raw damage. So let's go for... I wonder if we could go for... I mean, if I use melee, it's just gonna be more buffs. So let's go for... Can't ever remember who to use on this. Like, that's actually like halfway decent. The Goddess team doesn't use buffs, and it really doesn't use debuffs either. She will be kind of counterintuitive for it, I think. Nanashi is not a good idea. I'm gonna get value out of this melee, I think, maybe, because he doesn't put on blue buffs. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, I mean, just pretty standard stuff. I just really liked playing the game. It was a fun game to play. I wasn't necessarily making videos because, like, I was like, oh, like, these people are making videos on the game, and they're doing really well. Like, I've never really looked at it like that. I just always thought it was like, you know, I enjoy playing the game, and while I'm playing the game, I might as well make content on it, because I don't necessarily play games because I want to, you know, just play the game. I think making content is also a lot of fun. So in the regard of me, you know, getting double value out of it, sort of like, I not only get to play the game, but I also get to make content on it and have fun that way, is a lot of fun for me. So damn it, Sariel's passive is gonna screw me here, I think. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it. I like making content on it, so might as well make content. Or, like, I liked playing the game and making content, so I just kept going, kind of. Wasn't really too much motivation other than that, but I think it worked out. I think I really like where the channel's at the moment. I think it's definitely paid off a lot compared to you know, just me playing a whole bunch of random stuff here and there, making one-off videos on different things that I was playing at the time. Because I mean, ultimately the game, you know, me having a YouTube channel was more of a hobby than anything, but I feel like this has definitely, like, just sticking with this game specifically has given me like a new outlook on like YouTube and growing a community and just having fun, sort of growing as a channel and stuff like that in general, which is really cool. So that is pretty much it, though. I think we got through all the questions. Obviously, some of them were I spent a little bit more time on than others, but I think it was like the perfect amount because we're pretty much done at the right time. I maybe you know, beat around the bush a little bit to extend some of those, but altogether, very nice. Thanks to everybody who, you know, submitted a question. I was hoping I was kind of scared. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be too few questions and then I would end up getting done really early and just having to talk about whatever, but I feel like it worked out very nice. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was, you know, cool or whatever, just kind of chill. I didn't even feel like bringing the green screen out or anything and putting the lights on me and having it be really annoying for a video. So I just wanted to be super chill and sort of chat with you guys as a whole. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it to the end, leave me a little apple emoji or something like that so I know, because it's really cool for the longer videos to see who makes it to the end. But feel free to subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you later.